G'day guys, welcome back to the Rugby League Guru podcast. Going to continue our best 17 series. We're in a bit of a rush to get these done before the season kicks off. Only a few more to go, and I thought, why not tick off the Penrith Panthers today? I think most of their team picks itself, so I'll be going Han Solo for this one. Obviously, the Penrith Panthers, 3 premierships in a row. Incredible stuff, heading for their 4th this season. Personally, I think they will do it. This franchise is like very few we have seen before, especially in the modern era. We've never really seen anything like this before. When you add on top of that Nathan Cleary, the age he's at and whatnot, it really is incredible. They've lost a lot of players over the last few years, and seemingly it hasn't slowed their momentum. They haven't been better, but they've been different. And different is a bloody scary thing in rugby league. The Panthers will be different this year again without Stephen Crichton. They'll be different the year after without Jerome Luai. But with Nathan Cleary at the helm and Ivan Cleary coaching and the forward pack they've got, I think they can be wildly successful for a long time to come. Obviously, Stephen Crichton, a huge loss heading into this season, as is Spencer Leniu. But Stephen Crichton, he was the icing on the cake. He always came up with the big plays in the big moments when they needed them. In particular, grand final day. He has a real habit of coming up with big plays on grand final day. Come up with some absolute crackers over the last few years. Some of the forced dropouts, scored a try in this grand final as well, the most recent one. So Critter, he really is an absolute freak. I don't know how you replace a guy like that, but I also didn't know how you would replace Appy. And they replaced Appy with a lesser player, a guy that did a lot less towards the outcome of the team, but other guys just picked up the slack. And I'm expecting Taylor May to come in and do a really good job at centre. So as much as I think they'll really miss Stephen Crichton in those big moments, in my opinion, when it comes to NRL finals, they have Nathan Cleary, the best big game player in rugby league. I think he'll take a lot of confidence out of last year, going up against that red-hot Broncos team. The biggest comeback in grand final history. Nath would just be sitting on top of the world right now thinking, what can't I do in a Panthers jersey? So I am backing them for a 4th premiership in a row, and this is how I think they will line up. Dylan Edwards, the ghost, obviously picks himself at fullback. He's had a tremendous couple of seasons. Dylan Edwards, he obviously was picked to play for the Kangaroos at the end of the last season. It didn't go overly well, let's be completely honest here. Wasn't playing fullback, was playing wing. Fullback, obviously his best position. We know what we're going to get out of Dylan Edwards when playing for the Penrith Panthers, and it will be top shelf. Wingers, I think these two pick themselves. Taruva, obviously on the left edge, was incredible last season. He can play centre as well, and I think that could become important, but I also think he will play left wing for the Penrith Panthers. And over on the right, Brian To'o. In my opinion, the best winger in rugby league, and in my opinion, arguably the best winger I have ever seen coming out of his own end. He is simply incredible, Brian To'o. He ticks all the boxes. People want to bring him down because he's a little bit shorter than some wingers in this competition, but honestly, how often do you see guys out jumping him and whatnot? It never fucking happens. So Brian To'o, Taruva, stoked to see them there. Isaac Tungo, he will obviously line up in one of the centre spots. Whether it's left or right, I'm not too sure yet. Personally, I prefer him on the left, but I think it'll probably come down to Taylor May, who I believe will be the other centre. They have got other options there. You could obviously play Tyrone Peachy there, but I think Taylor May will win that spot. I think he's in for a big, big season, Taylor May. So as far as Tungo and May, which side they play on, I'm not too sure. As I said, Taruva could potentially play centre as well, but I don't think he will. I think he'll stay on the ding-a-ling, and then you'll get Tungo and May in the centres there. Which side it's going to be, I have no idea whatsoever. When we get into the halves, obviously Nathan Cleary picks himself at halfback. You could do much worse at 7. At 6, Jerome Luai. He will be the 5'8" for the last season at the Penrith Panthers. I believe you will see young Jack Cole play in the World Club Challenge, though, a kid that I think's got a big future. A lot of the preseason, I'm hearing everyone talk about Schneider and Dane Laurie. I said from day one, I think Jack Cole is the next 5'8" at the Penrith Panthers, and he's one to keep an eye on. Very excited to see how he goes in the World Club Challenge. I think you will see him play there, so keep an eye on Jack Cole. But for the rest of the season, Jerome Luai, he will obviously take up the 5'8" duties at the Penrith Panthers, looking for their 4th premiership in a row as they farewell the great Jerome Luai. Let's get into the forward pack. Up front, James Fisher-Harris and Mos Leota. They are the best front row duo in rugby league right now, and I think the best front row duo we have seen probably since Petros Evanasiva and Shane Webb. You could argue they've had more success as well, which is pretty wild. Don't want to upset anyone out there, but it probably will. Those two, I remember talking to James Graham last year. He came on Bloke in a Bar after the grand final and said, you know what? With Spencer Leniu leaving, do they have a guy of his calibre to come off the bench? Probably not. Do they maybe consider splitting up the two front row forwards, the starting guys, JFH and Leota? Maybe something to keep an eye on there. James Graham knows a thing or two about front row forwards, one of the greats of all time. It's a little spot to watch there, but I do think they will both start in the front row. You've obviously got Mitch Kenny at 9. I thought he was tremendous last year. Egg all over my face. I didn't think he was capable of doing what he did last year. He was fantastic. You get him very cheap. He's one of the best value players in this competition. Defensively, does a job every single week. He's getting a little bit more crafty out of 9, but the best thing about Mitch Kenny is that he's self-aware. He knows what his job is. My job, get the ball to Nathan Cleary when he wants the ball, get it to him quick and get it on his chest. And he did that last year. And if you actually go back and you have a look at that match-winning play by Nathan Cleary in the grand final, go back and watch the entire set because it is a Mitch Kenny masterclass. You could have had any hooker there ever, including Cameron Smith, and they couldn't have done better in that set than what Mitch Kenny did. The way that he manipulates Reece Walsh, then the way that he manipulated Jordan Ricky, very, very impressive by Mitch Kenny. Real tick of approval from me after last year. Edge back rower Scotty Sorensen, what a revelation he was in 2023. I believe he will line up on the left edge once again. And the dog, Liam Martin on the right. I love to have a guy in every football team that will fight for every bone, that'll fight for every single metre. Liam Martin is that guy. I couldn't think of anyone worse to deal with than Liam Martin. Small in stature, big on ability, and he really is the tough guy in this side. Love Liam Martin. Isaiah Yeo in jersey 13, arguably the best 13 in rugby league. I don't think you could possibly have him outside of your top 3. I think he's by far and away the most consistent 13 in rugby league. Isaiah Yeo used to be a guy that was handy to have in your squad because he could play centre and back row. Now he's the best 13 in rugby league. Unbelievable stuff. That's just starting 1 to 13 for the Penrith Panthers in 2024, in my opinion. The only thing that I think could fluctuate a little bit is the centres, which side Tago and May play, and potentially Tyrone Peachey jumping in that starting side, but I probably doubt it. The other thing that could change is maybe one of the front row forwards comes off the bench, but I think that's a bit of a long shot. Long shot, that is. Let's have a look at the bench. Jersey 14. Last year ran with Sonny Luke for a lot of the season. I don't think they will do that this year. Had Jamin Salmon for the remainder of the season playing that sort of role. This year, I probably think it'll be Tyrone Peachey. I think he probably takes that role. You've obviously got Sonny Luke who's available. You could also go with Jack Cole as well, who could be another option there. But for me, I think Tyrone Peachey is probably most likely to get Jersey 14. And what a super sub to have. My God, he's going to give some headaches this season. As far as Jersey 15, 16, 17, you got 3 jerseys to fill there. A number of options. Lindsay Smith obviously featured in the grand final side last year. I was really impressed with Lindsay Smith throughout the season. I thought in the finals he dropped off a little bit, so it'll be interesting to see if he fits in there. Matty Eisenhuth is another option there who does a job week in, week out for this Penrith Panthers side wherever Ivan Cleary picks him. The other guy is Maverick Geyer. I'm hearing he will play in the World Club Challenge. He's got on the plane to England, so keep an eye on Mav Geyer featuring in that one, and I think he could lock himself into a bench spot for the Penrith Panthers. Paul Alamotti arrives from the Canterbury Bulldogs. Brandy was an absolute gun coming through the grades and whatnot. Obviously a little bit slow at Canterbury last year. I'm very excited to see what the Panthers can do. I've heard rumours over the last few months that they're actually looking to use him as a bit of a middle forward to play 20-odd minutes or so. So keep an eye on Paul Alamotti and his leg speed through the middle. You've obviously got Garner as well, who was in the side last year, who played a role at different parts. Hoskins obviously left, so Garner could slip into that role. So there are a couple of guys there that I think are worth keeping an eye on. There is one more that I want to mention to you, and it's Liam Henry, who's a front row forward that I think could get a gig. I actually think he's the guy to watch this season. I think at some point he will come into first grade, and I think he will have a big impact on that Penrith Panthers forward pack. There's a heap of guys there that aren't in that side that can still fit in there. You got your Sonny Lukes, your Coles. I just named 5 or 6 forwards that aren't going to make the side. A heap of young guys coming through the grades and whatnot. The Penrith Panthers are sitting in a very, very good spot, and I think that if their spine is fit and available for finals, they're going to be very hard to beat. The thing that I love most about this Penrith Panthers side, they taper for the right end of the season. They are the definition of a September football side. They will keep their head above water for the next 25, 27 odd weeks, whatever the hell it is. Finals will come and they will take it to another level. And it's up to the rest of this competition to see if they've got that extra level to go to as well.